Vinny, all my love from South Philly. Mwah. Peace out, pal.
Vinny from South Philly.
You're watching Vinny from South Philly.
All right, everyone, welcome into another episode of Vinny Presents. And today we have, originally from Northern California, you've seen her on Baywatch. She was the Playboy Playmate of 2001, and you've also seen her Celebrity Apprentice. But most importantly, she is the producer, director, and star of a recently debuted movie called Wineville, which is now streaming. Welcome to the show, Brande Roderick. Brande, how are you?
Hello, I'm doing fantastic. So good to be here.
Well, thank you for joining us, and let's get right to it. So tell us a little bit about yourself. We want to hear all about Wineville, but tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my goodness. Well, I grew up in medium to small town in Northern California, and grew up having aspirations of being an actress, and used to put on little plays and stuff in my living room for the neighbors, and I'd go around and sell tickets, to all the parents. And so I caught the bug really early, and I then ended up moving to Los Angeles, I think in 97 or 98, when I was 22 or 23, to pursue acting, because I did as much as I could in Northern California. There you can only, do extra roles or, small independent films, things like that. So I moved to LA to, get my big break, and started out on shows like 90210 and Love Boat and some indie films. But I got my real big break when I got the series lead in Baywatch. So that was the big break.
And how was it working with, obviously, some of those, you had some major stars on that program, Hasselhoff and Pamela Anderson and so on. How was it working among those stars?
Well, you mentioned David Hasselhoff, and working with him, the word fun comes to mind. He's just such a joyful, happy, lovely person to be around, and we always had fun on set. So that was really exciting, being with him. And of course, made some wonderful friends. I still have some of the best friends I made from that show. Alicia Richter, Stacey Camano, Carmen Electra, made some really, Gina Lee Nolan, Angelica Bridges. Like, these are all like my really close girlfriends. So, yeah, so it was really not just, work-wise, it really created some really lasting friendships from that.
And so tell us a little bit how that, how was the segue into like Celebrity Apprentice and some of these other shows? I mean, did you, I know it's a tough town, LA. I mean, I understand, I lived out there, so I understand how tough it could be, but how was it just gravitating from one project to the next?
Well, I always believe work begets work. So I feel like each job I did, it led to the next job. Like doing Baywatch, obviously, and Playboy, being Playmate of the Year, led to Celebrity Apprentice. It also led to doing, the celebrity reality shows like Celebrity Fear Factor or The Surreal Life, where we did the very first ever celebrity reality show, which was kind of cool. But each job got another job. Starsky and Hutch, that got me the Nanny Diaries with Scarlett Johansson, and so it just continues that way, and you just make sure that you always keep those good relationships with people, because that's one thing for me that's been great, is I've kept in great relations with the casting directors, with the producers, with the directors, so that they keep, bring me back. So that's one thing as well.
With some other people I've interviewed in showbiz, the common thread seems to be that you build relationships, you act professionally, you do the right thing. And then, as you said, work begets work, and success builds on top of itself. So would you say that that's a really good little bit of advice for people out there? Stay professional, build good relationships, don't burn bridges. That sound about right?
100%. Like, if you're an asshole, you're not going to get the next job. You're just not. So nobody wants to work with an ass. So don't be an ass. There's some good advice for you. Don't be an asshole.
I hear some horror stories, and some of these people are A-list actors that friends of mine have worked with, and they're like, man, they don't come to set on time, and when they do, they're drunk, and I'm just like,
Oh
wow, man,
gosh.
there's so many great actors, actresses that seem to self-destruct. I don't know what it is.
Well, I don't think they probably started out that way. I would imagine. And maybe if they're coming to set drunk, it's because they've already built a name for themselves, I guess, so that the people that are hiring them maybe don't know they're going to come to set drunk. But yeah, that would definitely wouldn't be good. But I would imagine those are very far and few between, because if you're getting work and you're constantly getting work, you're not doing things like that, because the word would get out and you're not going to get hired again. So
Right. And, it just shows what a hard job producers and directors really have when you have this kind of circumstance, especially with multi-million dollar, tens of million dollar budget movies. It's really important to stay classy. With that being said, as far as being the producer and director, now tell us about Wineville. Is this your debut now in the producing directing field?
I've helped to produce 3 other films, but this is my baby. This is the first one that I am doing on my own, that I, created. But it is a horror film, horror thriller based in the late 1970s. And it's kind of across, a lot of the reviews have been saying, kind of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. It's got that kind of feel, that kind of grit. It's based in 1978. And it's about a really messed up family, it's about, the serial killers. But it's a family, and my character ran away from this horrible family, but has to come back when her father passed away to take care of the family dealings. And now when she gets back, things are even worse and have darkened and festered since she's been gone. And now she not only has to escape with herself, but now she has an 11-year-old son that she brought into this, and now she has to do everything in her power to get her and her son out of this horrific situation.
Sounds like a ton of conflict, which is always a good recipe for a good movie. Sounds great.
Yeah, and a lot of plot twists. That's the one thing that I really wanted to make sure that I got, was plot twists. I want people to leave the theater or leaving their home watching the movie saying, holy, you know what? I was not expecting that. Like, I want them to be completely shocked. And so far, everyone has been having that reaction. So I love that.
That's fantastic. Now tell us about some of the people involved in it.
Well, Carolyn Hennessy plays Aunt Margaret, and she is so good in it. And, it's so funny because when we saw her audition, everyone was good in the auditions. But when the one person would come across your desk and you're seeing them audition and you just are like, that's Aunt Margaret. So she was that person. She was like embodied everything. But there was one problem. In real life, Carolyn Hennessy is young and beautiful. Or younger than, our character. So we had to call our hair and makeup people and ask them, hey, can you make her look 25 years older and maybe not as beautiful? So we got the green light from them, which we were so excited about, because Carolyn is Margaret. She just was so good at, if you haven't seen it yet, you're going to be amazed by her. So she plays Aunt Margaret. And then we have Texas Battle, which was really exciting because he's got that horror film background with Final Destination and oh gosh, the other big franchise he did is I'm blanking, Wrong Turn, Final Destination. So it was exciting to get him. And then Casey King is kind of a new up and coming actor. And he's going to be a huge star. I've been telling him ever since, we've been working together. I'm like, you're going to be such a huge star, and you'll be able to see it when you watch the movie. Just, he is a star. But one thing about everyone that we hired, they came to set, and this is, doing an indie film, you don't have a lot of time. You don't have a lot of money. You have to get it done in one take, and then you have your extra take, your safety take. And these people all came to set every day prepared, not drunk, prepared and ready to go, had their lines memorized, and they got it on the first and second takes. And that is so important for anyone that's doing an indie film. Don't hire inexperienced actors. Don't hire wild ones. You know, that's one thing I learned because my producer, who is also the writer, Richard Shankman, has done a plethora of films, and a lot of them are indie films. And there was one actor I wanted to hire for this particular role, and Richard said, "Don't do it, Brandy," because this actor was like kind of crazy and like a loose cannon, like in real life. But that's what made them so crazy, right? I was like, "Oh, they're crazy in real life. They're gonna be so good." He said, "No, don't do it, because when they come to set, they're not going to be prepared. You just don't know what they're going to give you." And I'm so glad I listened to him on that, because when you're on set, you do not have that time. You do not have the time for someone just to go off the wall and do something weird and not do what's on the script. So I'm glad I listened to that advice. So for all the indie filmmakers out there, pick seasoned, experienced actors that are going to come to set ready and prepared.
That's really great advice. Yeah, I mean, and as I'm starting to establish myself as an indie filmmaker along that path, that you hear a lot of advice from people just like that. They're like, be careful who you hire, even with the crew. You know, you really got to be careful who you're involved in, because things inevitably go wrong aside from the people there, and so you don't need one more problem on set.
And you know, listen to your spidey senses, because I went through the hiring process with some people that I didn't listen to the red flags, because they had such a great resume, you know, like, okay, they're seasoned, they're going to be great. But then things would happen like on phone calls, you know, where they kept, you know, I'm sorry I couldn't be there, or this happened, or that happened, or sorry I'm late, or, you know, listen to that stuff, because they're going to be that way through the whole production. So when you get those little red flags in the beginning, you know, listen to them, and don't work with people that you have a feeling are not going to be good to work with. So
What's
listen
your
to,
God, I'm sorry.
yeah, just listen to your instincts. It's huge.
What's been your most fulfilling part of this whole journey?
Well, a lot of things. Being able to create something that I had a hand in from start to finish with everything, is huge. Like, that's, you know, very rewarding. But I think the number one rewarding thing is that I got to do a movie with my real life son. So we will have that, you know, that experience and that moment forever, and I will cherish that forever. So that was really exciting for me to be able to do that with him. So that was, you know, very rewarding.
That's awesome. Yeah, you know, that's a legacy that endures. So that's there forever. It's true.
Yeah.
Now, tell us, obviously it's streaming everywhere. So tell us, you know, where we could find you online. Tell us any websites or anything you'd like to mention.
Well, I mean, Brande Roderick is my, you know, handle for everything, which is my name. And then Wineville Movie is the handle for all the social media for the Wineville Movie. Winevillemovie.com will have all the links of where you could stream it. But, you know, you can stream it anywhere that you can rent or purchase a movie, like Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Apple, all your, you know, local cable networks like DirecTV or Spectrum or Cox, whoever you use. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. But if you go to winevillemovie.com, it'll take you to all the different links. And also, we're very excited because in horror, you have to do a limited special edition DVD. And so we did that, and it has the audition tapes from the actors. It has behind the scenes moments. It has actor interviews on set. So it's really exciting. We're excited to have that. And you can order that on winevillemovie.com as well. And I do an autographed DVD.
That's an awesome idea. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of indie filmmakers, and I can't stress enough, everyone out there that's watching, please, it's important to make sure we support indie
Yes.
filmmakers, indie productions in general, because you know, nothing against the big time studios or anything, but the indie filmmakers, it's so hard to really, you know, get that product to completion, and then to get revenue, to generate revenue, and to get your, you know, your budget back or your investment back. So really,
Yeah.
really important to support local filmmakers. indie filmmaker.
100%, because us indie makers, we don't have the big budgets for the promotions. I don't know if you know this or not, but the big boys, the studio films, sometimes their promotion budget is bigger than the actual budget to shoot the film. So that's how they have that backing, the $50 million to go out and get their movie out to everybody. Whereas indie filmmakers have, just our phones, getting out there talking and trying to just grassroots it, and it is very important for all of us to support each other.
Yeah, not to knock the major studios, but I just don't like the fact that they, to me anyway, my opinion is they just seem to rehash same stuff over and over. They take stuff from 20, 30 years ago, they rehash it, they make it a little bit more weird, and then they put it out there. And I just, but then again, a lot of them are in the red, so it's not always working. So
yeah,
and you don't get the ability to really, the creator like yourself or myself, we don't have that ability to really do something that we were passionate about, because it has to be a commercial success. It has to fit, hundreds of slots for them to even consider it.
right. Absolutely. It's good that we're, able to have that creative outlet for sure as indie filmmakers.
Well, Brande, in honor of you, I busted out my Camp Beverly Hills. You can't see it because of the thing there. There you go.
Oh, there we
Camp
go.
Beverly Hills mug.
Cute.
Some of you on the East Coast
it.
may not remember, but Camp Beverly Hills, it was a big shop back in Beverly Hills back in the day where all the preppy clothes were at, right?
That's right.
So a little throwback. But anyway, well, Brande, is there anything else you wanna tell the audience?
No, I'm just, I'm excited for people to see it. And when you do see it, I'd be eternally grateful if you would to rate and review it, because that really helps. Like Rotten Tomatoes, you can't even get on the board until you have at least 50 reviews. So, so it's really important, for us to make sure we do that and support and rate and review, and I'd be eternally grateful.
That's a great point. So again, friends, this is a big call to action. Make sure, first and foremost, in the description box, we're going to make sure that we have Brande's information. Follow her on all our platforms, support the film, rate it, review it. That's very important. People forget sometimes to rate and review things like these independent movies.
Yeah.
Very important.
Oh, and one thing that's kind of fun that your viewers might like is I'm doing a fun thing where if somebody takes a picture of themselves watching the movie with a glass of wine or whatever their favorite libation is, could be anything, could be juice, but send it to me, tag me, and then I will also share it on my social media. So it'll be kind of fun, and I'll tag you back on my social media with the image. So.
And I think I owe you one of those pictures. So I'm actually making homemade wine as we speak. So I have to actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's one of our old family traditions. It's literally outside in the yard. I have to now press it. But once I pour glass, I will do what you said.
I love that. That's so cool. That's really neat that you're into wine. So yeah, that's perfect.
When I went over, actually, when I went to Napa, it was like, I didn't want to go home. I remember I was like, oh man, this is just like Italy, beautiful. And, the whole wine, I grew up around the whole wine sort of, wine influence, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you should come to Temecula in Southern California, our wine country here. It's really beautiful as well.
Yeah, I've heard good things about Temecula. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So great. Well, Brande, if there's anything else, otherwise I will definitely don't want to hold you up. You've been a great guest.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and this has been wonderful. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Again, our guest has been Brande Roderick, producer, director, star of Wineville. Get on there, watch it. Drink the wine, take the picture, do what she says, or else, okay? Thank you again, Brande. It was great having you.
Thank you.